There we go.
Let me
Hey,
get y'all all in my face. All right, there we go.
there we go. So we wanted to get two episodes in before we gave you guys our take. Okay? Because we know everybody was already on the train watching The Last of Us. But I had to I like to get a big picture sometimes. Let me turn my volume up so I can get in there. So we said once we got a couple of episodes in, which I'm glad I did because I actually really want to talk about this second one. So we got our two episodes, and we are here tonight to talk about The Last of Us, HBO's adaptation of the video game. So if you guys are gamers, let us know if you've played it, if you like the game, if you've seen the show versus the video game. How do you feel about how HBO is executing it so far with two episodes in? We want to know. And of course, before we jump into it,
We got glasses.
you know,
Ooh.
I got my
Listen,
old
she
faithful
wrong because we talking about The Last of Us.
Stella
And she
Rosa.
got this doggone Walking Dead cook. Y'all see how she do? Y'all see how she do?
This is the closest
Uh,
I could get to apocalyptic.
so,
But some people are calling The Last of Us
no,
the new Walking Dead. So I've seen
y'all
this
trying to
trend
knock out
popping
these
up too.
comparisons already. No. Um, but I'm going to tell you what's in my glass because we start 2023 right. So, we got a real cocktail for y'all today. All right? Y'all see my glass? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I call this
It is. It looks
today.
pretty fancy.
Because I don't want y'all to know how I feel for real. Like this weather's killing me. But this is what I call a strawberry massacre. Um, of course, I will post this recipe later. It is a little bit of a twist on a mojito. So what I have is some sliced strawberries, fresh mint, and agave. Muddle that in the bottom of your glass. Once you do that, you're going to top it with ounce and a half of Tito's or whatever vodka you like, an ounce of strawberry rum, splash the key lime juice. If you don't have key lime juice, use regular lime juice. And then you're going to top that with pineapple juice and a splash of club soda. Don't worry, you can catch that. I will post the recipe for you. But once you do all that, stir a little bit. Make sure you got your ice in there. I just garnish mine with a strawberry, little piece of mint just to top it off. And that's your strawberry massacre, baby. So we will post that
Okay.
recipe later.
Okay. What can ginger ale be
Baby,
used to replace the
whatever
club
little
soda?
figs
I'm
you
just
like. You know how we say. Whatever little figs you like. Um,
just throwing that out there just to see. But yes,
all
it looks pretty fancy.
right.
I like it. I like it. Uh, Jumping right on in.
What's
Um,
up?
D-Ray, what did
So
you expect
going
going
in,
in?
let me be honest with y'all. I ain't been a gamer since 2006, right? So this game came out in 2013, and I had not played it. So I had no expectations. I was just like, everyone's talking about this. The game community is psyched about it. Let me see what this is. Knowing that it's HBO Max, I had high expectations for quality, but I had no idea what to expect as far as storyline and what was going to happen.
Mm.
So I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, once I seen we had a couple of Game of Thrones stars in there, I said, you know what, this might be all right.
It's the writing. The actors have to bring the writing to
I
life.
said, I said this might be all right. And then I heard one of the creators also worked on the show
Oh, I like
Chernobyl
Chernobyl.
that was on
Yeah.
HBO. That came, yeah. When did that? I wanted to say it came out, what, maybe 2019,
Tell
2020,
me about
somewhere
it,
like
because
that.
we watch a lot of TV.
So I feel like it came out around that time. So if you guys haven't checked out that show on
Yeah,
HBO, please
Chernobyl
go
was
back and watch that. That was a really good show, and it was based on actual events. So that was, I actually always kind of wanted to know a little bit more about that story. So I found it very interesting. So I'm like, this is a good mix of people going on here. So I was hoping that my expectations would be met, and they were. The first episode episode was actually movie length, and it started off like a normal day, and that normal day went from normal to full blown we're in apocalypse, literally from that morning to that evening. And they gave us, for those who play the video game, they gave us pretty much what all the gamers knew what was going to happen. We met Joel, we met his daughter, we met his brother. And then that took us from, yes, Tommy. And that took us from we chilling, normal day, to people, to people now have this fungus. Oh, and let me wait. Before that even started, we had this flashback scene from like what, the 60s or 70s, where they had this scientist talking about what would happen if ever a fungus pandemic.
Because I'm gonna stop you, because that was a dope opening scene for what we're dealing with now, post COVID, in COVID, however you want to address it. But also for scientific minded people, that conversation was dope. So when she's talking about the very opening scene of episode 1, there's like an interview happening with these two scientists, and of course there's one scientist talking about a global pandemic can happen, and that's going to be hard because we got to find it and stop it and blah blah blah. And what the guy said was pretty much a damn prophecy for what has occurred, but he explained how a fungus can infiltrate an organism and take over their mind, and we don't have cures for funguses. And so if they evolve to where they're able to maintain in a human body at the temperature in which we live, because the world has warmed up, i.e. global warming, which we're doing right now, then there is no cure, and that is the end, and that is the concern, because pandemics and viruses, you can manipulate, you can find cures. But he was like, for this fungus, you're not going to be able to do anything. It's going to continue to evolve because it's a living organism. I thought that insight was so perfect for people who would not have otherwise understood what was happening. So that was really dope. I don't know if that was in the game or not, but it was very dope for the entry of this show, because it's the basis of what you need to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It kind of set the tone for what was about to happen. And it brought that fear, because you knew once he said that, and then you find out what we're dealing with, we're like, oh, there's not going to be any hope for any of us if this is what that is. And so we get into the episode, and, you know, from the normal day to now everybody's freaking out and trying to get out of town. People are, and I love that there's a shot where Joel, his brother, and the daughter are in the car, and it looks like that first-person perspective video game type of view, where you feel like you're in the car looking through the same lens as moving around, and you see all the chaos in the street. I really like how that. And of course, if you haven't seen it, y'all need to go and click this off.
It's all through here. We let y'all know how we
do. Y'all, look, we gave y'all plenty of time. But yes, so in the episode, Joel got separated from Tommy. He's with his daughter, and they're trying to run to safety, and they run into like this military guy or SWAT team looking guy, and they assume that he can be there to help. And of course, in instances like that, their job is to rid themselves of, you know, of the, exactly. And as Joel is trying to get away, his daughter gets shot. And so that's how that flashback scene happened. And then we do a time hop to present day, where everybody is just trying to live in this world where this fungus is literally thriving. That's their way of life. And so during this time, we meet Joel's friend, Tess. They smuggle together, which is, you know, they try to get things from different quarantine zones and stuff like that. That's their hustle. And yes. And so they meet up with Marlene, and Marlene wants them to help smuggle this
Mind
little girl, Ellie.
you, Marlene is a
Ellie
leader of,
is
for lack of other word.
right. Going against the government, because at this point, y'all, the government is off the chain. You get look anything that ain't inside their protocol, it ain't no trial, it ain't no jail. It's just straight up execution. And so, of course, when you have that type of leadership, you're gonna get pushed back, and that's what Marlene and her crew are. And they're like, hey, we got this little girl. Y'all need to get her to somebody who can help her or help everybody, because Ellie has been bitten and been carrying around a bite for 3 weeks. And the standard time for getting bit by one of the infected people, the clickers, is 2 days.
Yeah.
You got a 2-day infection and you're done. Ellie has been walking around for 3 weeks and she's fine. So they're like, there are some people that can help her. Can y'all get her there? And that's kind of how we end the episode, is by them trying to, how we gonna get Ellie out of here? Because now shit's crazy. Joel then shot somebody, one of the.
Baby Joel I've seen this before.
Yes, and right, he's Joel is like he is in a place where he is just like he ain't about no foolishness at this point in his life, and so that's how episode 1 ended. And I thought it was a solid episode for what type of story we're about to see.
It definitely drew me in,
and it was literally like watching a movie, and it really put us into that world of where they are. It set the stage. So before we move on to episode 2, what is your rating for episode 1?
So on the 5 skull scale, I'm gonna give episode 1 a 5. It set us up perfectly.
Really?
Yeah, it set us up perfectly.
Okay.
It gave you enough back history to get you in there, like intrigued. The characters for each person's personality is pretty much a mystery, so you want to see where it's going. So I enjoyed episode 1. Like I didn't think there was anything that could have been done different. One of my favorite scenes in episode 1 is the foreshadowing when the daughter is in the neighbor's house and grandma, who been sitting in this wheelchair and ain't moved all goddamn day, her face gets screwed up and she looked like she finna lash out. Like, that scene was stupid creepy, and I was mad nobody caught it but the dog. So I already knew when the dog was at the door. I was like, oh, grandma done snapped. She'd have tried to eat the damn dog. Because by that time, Lil Mama had been in town.
That was good. I like that.
Yeah, by that time she had been in town and shit was popping off, and so we knew something was about to happen. So yeah, I think episode 1 was
okay.
Dope.
It was 4 out of 5 skulls for me, but only because I liked the fear aspect from the first half, and it wasn't so much more of a fear element in the second half. And that's just based on me, and I wanted more suspense and horror carried throughout. But I understand why we had to know these people. They had to set it up. We needed to know what Joel was doing this whole time, how the people were surviving.
Right.
So I get it. And then we roll on into episode 2, which is literally right. And they're still like, how are we going to get it? Like, she was bitten. Should we even be rolling with her? So a little bit of paranoia on whether they can trust her. Are they going to make it all the way through? This is a very dangerous task. So there's that tension amongst the group of them, among Joel and Tess and Ellie. And Tess is like the voice of reason. And this is where my Walking Dead comparison comes in at, because I feel like Tess is like, I need this stuff to end. If we have somebody that can cure, y'all know that's my show. And so Tess she's your voice of reason. We can't be in an apocalypse forever. We have to come up with something. Something has to happen to change the dynamics of things.
Was a hope.
Maybe Ellie is
she
that
definitely was
person.
a hope.
Mm-hmm. Joel, who is full-blown apocalyptic style mentality, where it's like, we don't walk around with infected. I'm trying to survive, and she can put my survival at risk. We kill people like this. We don't just roll with them. We can understand why he's like that. Well, and so that's where the journey in episode 2 comes from. And this was the horror vibes that I needed, and it lasted throughout the entire episode. And I loved every minute of it, from start to finish. Like, we get to walking into a house, and we don't know what's in there. We get to be quiet. We don't want to disturb nothing. We just trying to get in and get out, or see if there's any supplies. Maybe we can chill here. We need to know what's going on. How do we get from point A to point B? And so we have this really lovely introduction of the clickers in this episode. And they are hideous, by the way. They are something. I think they were really done. And I love those moments of tension and building and because they can't see.
Oh, but listen,
and so
the way that you found
that
out was dope too, because again, Gamer had no backstory. So for them to be in this museum that they were in, thinking that everything was dead, because you find out like these intricate details about the clickers, how they work, what they do, and just things you need to know to survive. And you're finding them out with Ellie because she don't know. And so you're learning while she's learning. So I thought that was really good. But then when you get to the point where, excuse me, I told y'all I ain't feel good. When you get to the point where the clickers are here and they're chasing, we know that they're in here and we trying to hide. I also need to tell you real quick, shut up, girl, because they can't see. They can hear you though. Be quiet. Meanwhile, okay, all right. Meanwhile, it's on the other side of the wall, finna come out that ass. So, that tad little tidbit was amazing. How they just kind of threw that out there. Can't see, because we didn't know
that. What movie? A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place, where it's like it's all about how can you and because they know any slight movement that they can hear puts your life at risk. You can be right with that tension of being quiet, and Lord knows it's hard to do that with children. And Ellie is not the quietest person in the world, y'all.
She talkative.
She's not the quietest.
She what Kim would call teenage angst on 1,000.
Yes, Ellie is full of teenage angst. And she is just the noisiest thing. It's just like, oh my goodness. She calls a lot of unnecessary foolishness, but I mean, what else do you expect when you roll with children? You're gonna get children type things, and so of course they had to break up their we're moving in silence to okay, here they go, they done found us now, because this little girl can't be quiet. And the tension that it took from their introduction and trying how difficult it was to run from the clicker, because I almost thought that they weren't that bullets was not working, because how many times did they have to shoot him before he went down?
I thought about that too. I was like, dang, do bullets not kill him? Like, what you got to do? Because I mean, once you kill the host, the fungus is no longer having anything to feed on. But how you kill the host is a question, because he did shoot at that bad boy a couple times. But the way that it's made, it's like protecting the head, the way that the fungus is kind of growing out the head. If y'all have not seen this, I'm going to say now, while we're talking about it, the gruesomeness of these clickers The makeup in this show is excellent. Y'all know I like the special effects in everything, but this makeup is so excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I went and I was looking at like back behind the scenes footage and shit, how they was doing the makeup and stuff, because I was so impressed. Because it really does look like a plant is just like growing out of these people's heads, and it's
It set off
impressive.
my trypophobia.
It's very
Oh my
impressive.
goodness.
I ain't got no trichophobia,
Mm-hmm.
but it still look
I
nasty.
said those things need to stay. I said they need to stay in the dark. As soon as they get a little bit light in there, it makes your skin crawl because it's
Yeah,
not something we're used to looking at. Everybody, we're used to looking at zombies and their various stages and forms. What happens when it when something comes at you and it's
right.
infected? So it not only looks gross, but it's like that. You don't touch me because I know automatically I'm gonna catch what you got.
So for
Nasty. And so that's why it added that fear and that body horror type thing.
you cringe a little bit, just a little bit when you watch it.
This game justice. Oh, awesome. Yes, for those that play the video game, somebody in our comment section said that they're doing pretty good with sticking in source material. Apparently, which is always a thing that they're doing the video game justice because that's actually a high ranking video game, and so HBO had to come correct with that, especially with the introduction of the clickers, which was amazing how they did that, and that we were still terrified because I haven't played The Last of Us, but I still got that vibe almost with like Resident Evil. That's kind of what it reminded
Resident
me of
Evil
when
had me.
you're walking through these different rooms and you don't, yes, and you don't know what to expect, and you open the door and you see a creature that you've
Right.
never seen before. So that's the type of vibes that I was getting while I was watching it. Um, throughout the episode,
Good night.
it was literally a creepy episode. We find out in that first location, uh, Tess was bitten.
Listen,
Um, and I'm just like, oh, okay, we killing
listen,
off
because
characters
y'all didn't
early,
give me enough
aren't we?
time to figure out Tess, because I ain't gonna lie to you. At the very first of the episode, I thought she was trifling. Homeboy hands on you, and you was trying to, don't worry about it. I'm gonna keep them off you. I was like, hold on, sis. You supposed to be loyal on one side. What you doing? So I needed more Tess to understand the person that she was. I was mad she was finna die. Damn, girl, you got bit. And then we didn't get to see her get bit. That was a thing. Um,
But I felt that she did because I felt it was too long of a break between Ellie and Joel because Joel was keeping Ellie safe,
right,
and then we didn't see
right,
Tess for a little while. I was just like, Lord, but see, they didn't tell us that
right.
till the end of the episode, and I didn't know that she was bit. But in my mind, I felt like she was bit at that first location when they finally killed the clickers that were around. I felt like that's when we were gonna know, but they didn't say anything. They waited it out, and then we found out, which was all the more for her to sacrifice herself to
The
save
rest of them.
um, Ellie
That
and
scene
Joel.
gave me,
Because what happened?
listen, I don't like creepy crawlies. That scene had my whole skin crawling. Because that damn clicker, I don't know if it was supposed to be it was like a kiss or a communication of some sort. Don't know what the hell was going on. But them tentacles coming out his mouth to implant it to her.
Oh my
Listen.
god!
And then she was trying to flick that damn lighter, y'all. And I was like, flick the lighter, flick the lighter. Because as
Like
soon as
girl.
he touch you, that fungi hive mind is going to take over. And you ain't going to be able to click the lighter no more. Like, this thing was wild. And she was crying. And I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, damn, she about to go.
Because it's like she couldn't do anything about it. That thing was coming at her with that oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, and speaking of the tentacles, we got to talk about the opening of episode 2. which was another flashback into we head into another scientist in a different part of the world. And again, it's like this thing is starting, and these soldiers go and retrieve this scientist. I think she was she was teaching, and they want her to see um, this body that was infected, and she goes into like the autopsy room, and when they show her, like, they're like, I want you to look at this. She was freaked out. She was freaked out, and I was freaked out. Like, we were freaked out together. And they go back and they sit down and talk about it, and the soldiers are like, okay, you're like one of the smartest people we know. Like, this is your field. You know about this. And when that lady looked so frightened and was like, there ain't nothing you can do. Like, this, we can't do nothing.
Like,
She's like, bomb everything,
like, it's
kill
over.
it. There's no surviving this. Exactly. Like, ain't no help for real. When she got scared, I'm like, that means everybody's supposed to be scared. And it's like that takes you into what is how serious it is of what they're dealing with in this. That there's no cure, there's no vaccine, there's no protocol, there's no nothing, but it's going to spread like a wildflower, fire, and nobody can handle it. It's going to keep reproducing and spreading and infecting people. And guess what?
It's over. And then I like how you get all the big picture when she does that, because in episode 1, they allude to something going on in Jakarta, because that's what the scientist is. And it's all over the news. And, like, Joel and his daughter and brother had that conversation, like, where the fuck is Jakarta? What is that? Blah, blah, blah. And so they're like, it's all in the news. But they didn't say what. And so then when you see this flashback to the scientist at that time, and you hear them say, like, oh, this employee in this flower factory, you're like, oh, it's over, baby. Because flower, she a fungus, flower get fungus, and this shit, no telling how far it went. Hey, you hear your enemy in the background. Ain't no telling how far the fungus done grew in the flower that we done sent all over the damn world. So you get the bigger picture as soon as you get this scene, and it's like, damn. And from what I understand from gamers, that backstory was not in the game. And so that brings a whole new level to the show in itself, and I enjoyed it, because you don't always get the backstory. Like, damn, it took us forever to find out what the Umbrella people was doing back in the Gap.
And see, and that's the thing we get left out of in a lot of zombie tales, like Black Summer. It's like we never quite know what's going on. And after how long Walking Dead been on, they're just now starting to pinpoint and like tell us that there's these, research buildings and these research organizations that's looking into the virus. And so it's like we're not alluded into how these things got started and how far they can spread and how they affect us and variants and stuff. But The Last of Us is like, we gonna give y'all all this info because y'all need to be scared too. Like, what we hiding for? Let's let the people know immediately. So Desiree, what was your favorite part of this episode?
Okay, so my favorite part of episode 2. Ooh, I got excited. When they finally get to the rendezvous point, and they go in there and realize that the whole movement had pretty much killed themselves. Either you were infected and you was trying to kill the living, or the living killed you because you was infected. Pretty much everybody was dead. But there was one infected still laying on the ground, barely making it, and he jumps up to attack them. And earlier in that episode, Tess had explained to Ellie that they had the hive mind, and that those groups and things that are running through the city connect to all of them. And so she told her, like, you could do something to one and they all suddenly know where you are because they feel it.
Oh, no.
So
absolutely.
I liked that in this scene you got to see it work, and you immediately knew that, oh shit, y'all in trouble, because they killed that one and where they thought that the roots were all dried out. When he fell dead, you saw, like, was it blood or something hit the ground and hit those roots, and then you see other roots come up out the ground, and then you see somewhere else in the city instantly, like these fools hopped up with like the speed of light.
They woke.
That
That
shit was
was
wild.
so creepy. That was creepy because yes, it's like that one body hit the ground, and in a parallel moment, in that instant, one went down and it woke
I knew
everybody
exactly
else
where to
up.
come.
And that reminded me of that old school horror movie. I'm thinking Thriller when
She gonna put a
Michael
thriller in
Jackson and Ola
everything.
Ray when they're walking by the cemetery and everybody is waking up. But not only that, Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse. Remember when they
Okay,
were in the
okay, okay.
cemetery?
Dang, and what movie is that? Is that Dawn of the Dead or something of the Dead? They in like a mall or something, and that's Dawn of the Dead.
That's
Yeah,
Dawn of the
like
Dead.
it put me in the mind of that because all of a sudden, like, oh, it starts coming.
When everything
Yes,
was quiet and then everything woke up at one time. So yes, it reminded me of those aspects. And it's like you can't have an infected thing spreading and not have that happen. That adds real terror. Actually, that was my favorite
yeah,
moment
that was dope.
in the show as well, because it's like, oh,
Yeah,
shit just got real. Like what she said was real. You should be afraid. I'm afraid. Y'all need to be afraid because this shit is real. So I loved it. I'm gonna give it this
five
episode for
skulls
me
definitely.
5
We ain't
skulls.
even flip it on that one. Overall, what did you think
Mm-hmm.
about the visuals? Because like we got this post-apocalyptic world kind of. We got these creepy ass fungus infected people. Like, how well do you think they're doing with the totality of everything? Does it look fake to you? Do you like it?
I think they did good. It looked like they spent some
They
money on
got
it. They got a
a
couple
Game
dollars.
of Thrones
They
budget.
spent some things. They spent a little money on this. So I said, okay, which almost scares me a little bit. That means that we might not get another season for a while
Don't put
because of how
that out
expensive it
there because the
probably
game.
is.
How many
But
games does it have? I know for a fact that has two, right? At least two. Yeah. So don't
mhm,
do that. Don't do that.
mhm,
Dang. Killjoy.
mhm. So yeah, it really brought us into that. And yes, it does. Somebody in the comments said that the show looks like the video game. So that's good that they're sticking to the source material and that for the fans. And I think the visuals really help us pull us in as if we were watching the video game, only we don't have a
And
controller. We're watching
you know
like the
what I
movie
like
scene
too?
parts,
Um,
you know?
I like that they still give it like a likeness to it. And when I say that, I mean like, we see those movies where shit is dilapidated, it's tore down, it's just raggedy, and people just be walking through that shit and running through that shit and nothing happens. I like that in the museum scene, you see that this building is still dilapidated because it starts crumbling around y'all. Y'all moving too hard, shit tearing up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I like that you still have that liveness
Mm-hmm.
and likeness of reality, because
Good catch.
they be walking through
Good
damn
catch.
abandoned ass buildings that you be like, why this shit ain't fell over yet? Um, and it just be like, this is so unrealistic. So I like that they still have that to it, and like the standing water, which they came into the building, it looked so murky and so nasty. I don't know why you would have tried to get me to
I
go
wouldn't
through
have
that, because
walked
I
through
would have been
that.
like, oh girl, I can't swim. It was like, ma'am, it's standing level.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I'd be like, it's all type of fungus and stuff probably growing at the bottom of here. And we already got fungus
What's that?
infected people walking around.
That
That was
shit
just
that
nasty. It,
amoebas them be eating people's brains and shit. Yeah, no, 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 hell no. So yeah,
right. So they spent some money on the visuals. So I enjoyed um, what we got coming up. I'm hearing that this next episode coming up, episode 3, is supposed to be like one of
is
the
that
best of the
already though?
season. Now, it's got it's got a lot of it's got some standards to keep up because episode 1 and 2 have been
You
knocking it
gotta
out the
start
park.
strong.
So if I'm like, what is they gonna bring us for episode 3? If we ain't even got to the best episode yet, I'm
Yeah, you
excited
gotta start strong
for it.
because you can't keep my attention if you don't. So I applaud them on that. And again, I didn't play the game, but from what I understand from gamers, it's pacing really well compared to the game. Granted, the deaths are a little bit different because you gotta adapt to TV, but from what I understand, it is pacing pretty good, and so I liked it because it wasn't dragging, but it wasn't too much. It was just enough to keep me like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? So Sunday, HBO Max, if y'all ain't watching it, catch up. Episode 2, get to episode 3. Was it 9 o'clock? HBO Max, I think. Yeah. HBO. Well, that's 9 Eastern.
9
Y'all know we
o'clock
on Eastern.
on HBO. Because so far they're meeting my expectations. So I hope that they're meeting you all's expectations. We're going to continue to follow this show and watch this show. It's pretty good so far. I'm always here for the horror elements, and especially these apocalyptic type movements, which really kind of hit people these days. Like stuff like that is triggering for people.
It really hit
like
close to home because I'm like, dang,
it's
COVID
really
keep
triggering.
Mutating and shit. Oh, now y'all talk about the Earth's core.
And
right?
People not gonna do right.
So,
As you know people not gonna do right. We not gonna do right. This apocalypse happen. People gonna act straight
telling
stupid.
Us we living in the last
and so I be watching
they probably right. Like, what the hell? Please, Lord, don't let a fungus take me out. If I get bit, just shoot me, baby. If I get bit, shoot me. Don't let me change. Don't let me change.
Don't worry about it, girl. I
appreciate it. If shit happened to me today, ain't no cure for it. Just let's dead that. I'm not going to be the cure.
I got
okay. I'm not the Ellie in this situation. Okay.
I'll be watching this stuff for survival tips to be like, what I got to do to survive this, and so if they're gonna live this type of way, so what I need to get.
Look,
like, I'll be
people
studying
out there with them doomsday basements for real, like them super coupon people that be hoarding all the goddamn food when we ain't had no damn groceries in the store, but they had 20 packs of ground beef in their freezer. That's what you need to be doing. When we didn't have toilet paper, but they had a grocery store's worth of toilet paper in their basement, that's what you need to be doing.
For no receipt, that's because I know people won't act up. So I'm watching these shows to prepare, just in case, because I don't trust
here's
people.
My question though. So Joel and Ellie finna get in this damn truck and drive to what they say, Wyoming, somewhere in the Midwest. I don't remember where. What the fuck y'all getting gas at? How the hell y'all gonna get there? Because y'all done blew up the whole damn building with the gas tubs that was in there.
Well, I guess they're gonna ride until the gas run out. That's what they used to do on Walking Dead. They'll ride that car until the gas run out, and then just.
And here's my last question, because I don't remember 70s and 80s music like that. At the very last scene of episode 2, the radio was playing a song again. What the hell was that song? The 70s, the 80s. How am I supposed to know what it means?
80s. It was from the 80s.
It was the 80s? Okay.
From the 80s. So, yes, I do remember that. Yes, I remember that. Somebody said there's a lot of item collecting in the game. So, so maybe they will find some gas or something somewhere.
They're going to have to. Abandoned gas stations, I don't know. Other smugglers.
Right.
The network. Maybe they got like an underground railroad type of network with the rebellion.
Somebody said hit up the reserve tanks.
Oh, yeah, because they are like a military vehicle, so fun. But that was my first thought when they started blowing shit up. I was like, I need that gas.
We don't need it, because I'm not finna be just running around by myself with them clickers running around. I can't do that.
And we still got a whole lot of stuff to find out too, because there's a lot of cliffhangers in this. We need to know some more about Maureen, because clearly her and Joel have a previous relationship, because she knows his brother, who is nowhere to be found right now. We need to find out what the hell her relationship with Ellie is, because you knew well enough to put Ellie in a school where she would be protected way back when. So we need to figure out where that came from, and then we need to figure out when the hell she ran away and went to this mall and got bit. And so it's a lot of stuff that we got to look forward to in the series too. So, like I said,
Absolutely.
watch it on HBO Max because we're going to keep watching.
Check
And
it
we're
out.
going to wrap
Yeah,
it up.
absolutely. Thank you. Yes, exactly. We're gonna come back. This ain't the last time discussion we're gonna have about that. We're gonna come back around and give y'all our thoughts on how the whole series played out. Because this is just episode 2. We wanted to be able to kind of see where this show was headed before. Mm-hmm. Before we kind of went into discussion. And so I'm glad we did, because I really wanted to talk about episode 2. And y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the link in the Instagram bio. Hit subscribe if you're watching from YouTube. And of course, if you're not in Horror and Hooch Facebook group, what you doing? What you doing? We got a lot of stuff coming up in the next month, because we're going to be using the mess out of our TikTok this year. We've been saying it for about 2 or 3 years. We're going to be doing more with our TikTok.
I just envision this going, ooh, to the left, to the right. Because, everybody want to dance on TikTok, and we can't. Kim going to have us on TikTok doing the Thriller dance. I guarantee for the years up, we're going to be doing Thriller. Because they had to stop me from doing the Wednesday
at least
dance.
one time.
Y'all almost got a Wednesday out of me. So
one time. One time. We got to do it one time. But yes, this year for real, we're going to put a lot more content out on TikTok. We want to kind of give you guys some throwback horror movie suggestions. We're going to show y'all how she be mixing these drinks up. She came in here real extra fancy today. We go. Yes, so TikTok Horror and Hooch. Facebook group Horror and Hooch. Yes, mind you.
21 and up.
21 and older people.
I do not contribute to the delinquencies of minors. And if your mom is letting you drink at home, that's your business, okay? But don't say it was my fault. My 15-year-old definitely was like, "Can I taste it?" No, hell no. Get out of here. Would you like a Shirley Temple?
Yeah, gotta wait. You gotta wait. Look, you might have to give them the virgin recipes on some of these things. They be looking too fancy.
So for our pregnant moms and your minors, because y'all know we went through a year of me not being able to drink with y'all. So I understand. I give y'all some mocktails. We'll work on that. Y'all say what y'all want out there. And we gonna work on that content. But this Strawberry Massacre, we're gonna get y'all on that. We're gonna get y'all on that. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we got it. So Horror and Hooch Facebook group, Horror and Hooch on TikTok. We got some things for y'all this year. We level up every year.
Also,
we got some stuff for y'all.
Before we leave,
thank you guys.
We're gonna shout out my amazing co-host, because she was also featured on another episode this week on Sunday. She did a live.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me give y'all Movie Files.
Movie Files on YouTube. I watched Movie Files. A lot of you have probably seen Movie Files run across your timeline on YouTube. The guy's name is Elliot, and he does all types of, especially reviews, especially everything Marvel. He gonna review it. He was diligent with reviewing Atlanta, which I really love watching. He's definitely
I was on point with his ratings. He was right there. For me. He was right there.
Yes. Yes. I trust his opinions on a lot of things. And, when I saw he was a horror fan too, so we were able to break down this last episode of The Last of Us.
They did a really good talk about it too. Check that out.
Yes, Movie Files. Find Elliot on YouTube at Movie Files. And trust me, you're going to want to see his reviews. Yes, he's on TikTok. He's on Instagram. So look him up on all platforms to get his reviews and his take on things. And we collaborated on Sunday to really do an intensive breakdown. And so don't be surprised if y'all don't see us and Elliot again. Because we like to look. We're good for joining other podcasters and breaking down stuff. So yes, that was really fun to be able to do, and we will hopefully be doing it and joining him again soon. So yes, please check out Movie Files on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Don't forget to hit that subscribe with us, you guys. This was our first episode of 2023. we had to watch this couple. We had to watch it and kind of go dig deep in here, you guys. You know, we had to see
Also,
what was
keep your
going
eyes
on first.
open right now.
Um,
In conjunction with this, watching Mayfair, which is too on AMC. So we'll get into that too. So if y'all not watching that, catch that on AMC on Saturdays, I believe. But if you got the
mhm,
app, it come out a little early. So
mhm,
get into that as well. And we gonna come back with some more content with that.
absolutely.
And let us know what y'all want to see. Some of y'all watching,
Yep,
some of
let
y'all
us know.
interested in. Let us know. Hit us in the comments. Hit us in the DMs for content purposes only. And you know, we respond. We holler.
Yes, do that, please. Let us know what should we be watching? What should
Right,
we
right.
be reviewing? How do we feel about, what is our take on things? Because we're going to
And
try
we
to
gonna
do more
stop
reviews,
sleeping on
more
Shutter. Y'all
ratings,
told me to
more
stop sleeping on Shutter. We gonna stop sleeping on
recommendations.
Shutter. And to
Okay,
and
I'll be
Tubi.
watching Shutter and all
Somebody
their
else told me to
foolishness.
stop sleeping on Tubi.
Okay, I sleep on Tubi. I don't sleep on Shutter, but I do sleep on Tubi. I got to get on
I
that.
ain't gonna
I
trust
really
them
do.
till I
So
see
if
some
y'all
good
got some
shit on
good
Tubi.
Tubi
Okay.
recommendations, give us your Tubi recommendations because I didn't sleep on that one. But yeah, y'all please let us know what should we be watching because we're gonna give you our views, our recommendations, our take on things, our breakdowns, what to watch Wednesdays. We got that going for you guys. So thank you,
For
Horn and
joining
Hooch
us.
family. This is 2023. We are so excited. We have a big year planned. So thank you guys for joining our live covering The Last of Us, and we will see you guys in Horror
Y'all
Hooch
have a
Facebook
night.
group.